Yo, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday to everyone here in the chat. Happy graduation. I see Catherine's in the chat. I know she's got someone, I think her daughter's graduating this weekend. Lots of graduates this week. I had to do with my son graduated from elementary school, Alex, yesterday. Going to start middle school in the fall, man. So there was a lot of tears from people in that auditorium.
Any tears from you, Anwar?
A
little bit misty,
little choke every once in a while, But overall, I made it through. But you know what helped me out the most, Alex? As much as I was thinking about, man, my oldest, he's getting older. We're gonna start middle school in the fall. Only so many more years, and then I've got my 5-year-old sitting next to me who goes into first grade next year. I'm like, man, I got so many more years to go.
You have a 5-year-old going into first grade?
Yeah, he'll go into the fourth. He'll turn 6 in June, and then he'll go into first grade.
So he's young for his grade, huh? A little bit young for his grade.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Or is my son old for his grade? I don't know, man. Who knows how this goes? I have no idea.
All I know is thank you to all the teachers who are about to get some time off. You guys deserve it. I don't want to have to take care of my kids all summer, but you guys deserve the rest.
Yeah, man. So I got today. So do your kids have the half day today?
Yes.
Yeah,
How about
man.
this? How about this, Alex? My kid graduated yesterday, and he had to show up today because they're like, well, this is the day you get your yearbook.
No, I get, yeah, it's the same thing for me. Like yesterday was the day we had to send like the cookie cakes and all this stuff, like for the class parties, you know what I mean? And all this, they got all their end of year awards, all that stuff. And I was just like, why do you guys even have to go back today? And like, after I pick them up, they have a big, like they have a neighborhood pool party to where I've got to take them. Man, it's like a whole thing, man. I gotta pick them up at like 10:30. So that could mean that we got to get out of here just a tiny little bit early today. But a big show we have in store for you guys. You probably saw the thumbnail. We have the Michael Fasusi update. Hopefully we'll get a Michael Fasusi update because we're gonna have Texas Longhorn, Donald Hawkins, the ex-Texas offensive lineman, Donald Hawkins, should be joining the show around 9:25. As usual with guests, you can book them. You hope they show up. D-Hawk had never ghosted me before, so we will see about that. But yeah, he trains a lot of offensive linemen that Texas is looking at. And wanted to talk to him specifically about Fasusi. And also, man, D-Hawk is just a smart guy about Texas football. So Anwar and I were just going to pepper him with some questions about what he thought about some of these topics that we talk about here with you guys every single day. Also, we had a war room at Orange Bloods yesterday. Anwar, I know that you said Cash is going to be talking a lot about the NIL stuff, but there's a couple of other things in that war room that I thought could be interesting to sort of hit on. So we can talk about those things. I think that the most interesting thing to me, there's a couple things. So it looks like right now, as far as the player workouts, so they are they're basically what some sources are saying behind the scenes is that things are real quiet right now as far as guys getting together, working out together, but don't worry about that. It's just a bunch of people going home. Like a bunch of these guys have gone home after finals and stuff, and they're expecting a lot of people back on campus after Memorial Day to kind of get back together doing this stuff. I wonder if the source that told Ketch that was talking about it.
Actually, it was me. I just, I guess Ketch omitted my name from it, but
all right.
But that was actually my note that I passed along.
Yeah. So what's going on with this? Is it just dudes going back home?
Yeah. I mean, the thing was Memorial Day. It was. I think that the goal, Alex. And really, when we talk about it, Alice, we're really talking about more of the skill position guys, more so than anything else. Like the offensive linemen don't necessarily need to be there to catch and throw with Quinn, right? That's not necessary, but the skill guys absolutely do. And so the thing that was kind of communicated to me, Alex, is that because Quinn doesn't have a ton of camaraderie with these guys, is that the thought was, hey, let's get these guys in here this week. And I say this week and get these guys working out, but I think it was just hard from a scheduling standpoint to get things done. People have Memorial Day plans, want to be with the family, things to that effect. So, but I've heard like there's guys, like I've heard someone told me Jonte Cook, I think maybe even back in town now, but the vamp, I think Silas Bolden, when he was on with Catch, and this past week, he talked about working out with some of the guys this week. So next week, so it looks like next week is kind of more of the ramp up as far as like some team workouts that are more quarterback organized, quarterback driven before they get into the summer workouts, which begin on June the 1st.
One of the more odd things in the war room, and I guess was this your note too about Jonte Cook and his weight? Was that your note?
Yes.
maybe Catch did give you credit. I don't know. Did he give you credit?
No, he didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay. I don't think he. I think he just. I think what he did is he just. It was his. It was his like submission, right? But I think that his submission included both your work and his work.
I sent it to him. He combined it.
Yeah.
I just didn't get necessarily the credit for it.
Um.
What else you want to ask me for?
Yeah.
Apparently I'm the ghostwriter here. I can make a living in the rap industry over here, Alex.
Lots of industries, man. Lots of industries. You could be they say that all the political candidates that run for office and they do like the book tour right before they're about to run, like none of those people ever write their own book. Isn't that crazy?
That is
like,
crazy.
It's like you say that you put your name on the book, and I mean, it's like it's fine. I understand people lie and stuff all the time, but shouldn't that be kind of illegal to say you wrote a book and you didn't even write it?
I mean, I don't want to open up the can of worms, but don't they propose bills that are written by like companies and everything like that? So I want to go there, right? But I'm just saying,
but taking politics, the political candidates right out of it, right? It's like even say you're Michael Jordan or something like that, and you're like, why is it legal to say that you wrote a book whenever somebody else wrote it? It's crazy.
It is. It is. Hey, how about this? I knew a guy who was a reporter, right, Alex?
Yeah.
And he agreed to write a book for for Tony Dungy, and his agreement was that he would just get like $1 for every book sold. And I think like Dungy sold like 1 million books or something crazy like that. So it was like a long time ago. So yeah, so if for those who read books, it's profitable, I guess.
So, but in those spots, do they just say like, I'm gonna write it, and you're just going to be able to take complete credit as having written this?
I think there's always isn't there like an attribution? Like, isn't there sometimes like a written? Because I think it depends on the deal. Because some of it can be that, or some of it can just be you get no credit at all, and it's literally just written by Alex Dunlap, even though I just did it for you.
Yeah, like should that be illegal? It's such a lie. I don't get it. But anyway, why are we talking? Oh, because
you're talking about it. Why are we talking about something I'm talking about?
Just like I didn't have talking about.
You were asking. You started on the weight.
Whether ghostwriting should be illegal on my bingo card for things discussed on the show today.
I think it was Jonte Cook weight is what you started talking about.
So Jonte Cook, you said that. So he was listed at 6 feet 194 on the spring game roster, but you said that the goal is for him to lose a few pounds. I mean 180. They want him to lose weight.
They felt like it was a little bit heavier. And this really, honestly, Alex, this really goes back to the conversation that you and I had earlier this week when we was talking about like, the days of those big bodied, massive receivers seem to be kind of gone. And dude, I'll just be honest. I think Steve Sarkisian, when he got to Alabama and saw like, oh, look at what you can do with guys like this, like a Devontae Smith. I think he realized, like, man, this is not the worst thing in the world. Like having guys who are a little bit smaller frame who can, Alex, you could probably get to the technicalities. I know you break down like a lot of receivers as prior to the draft, right? But those guys are able to get out of breaks. You've got the NFL nowadays, and even college football. You can't. Pass interference is every other play. You can't really do. Defenders are at the receiver's mercy. So the thing with him, they said like, hey, you're a little bit too big. I want you to like literally shed some pounds, come in somewhere around 180, 185. Like that'd be kind of a good weight. Now, look, he can lose that during the summer workouts, right? And we know what this heat's going to look like in the next couple of months, Alex, and everybody's going to lose weight. But yeah,
I wish I could still lose weight like these guys. I wish I could just be like, yeah, I'll drop 14 pounds real quick for you.
That don't happen. That don't happen. I'm cool with my little dad bod, man. I'm good with it. It's a sign of maturity. But yeah, that's the kind of thing right now. Obviously, Alex, with him, like nothing bad. It's not like some of these guys, Alex, who started off training camp and they were like majorly overweight, right? We're not talking about like a Savion Red, right? Where you're just like, whoa, like dude, you're 240. Like what just happened here? Who was the offensive? Was it Peyton Kirkland? Was the other offensive line? Was he the one that was a little bit too big? Or I feel like there was
a couple of these guys look a little too big to me.
There was a couple of guys in the dog
2023 dudes. They all kind of.
Yeah, those NIL checks kicked in, man. Good eating at that point.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's a little. I thought Jonte Cook looked good. I don't know if it's just, but obviously they've been at practices more than I have. they have their finger on the pulse of this thing a little bit better, and if they think that he'll be faster, better getting in and out of his cuts at 180, 185, I think it's probably fine. I mean. I did think it was kind of neat that I thought that he really did look fast as can be as it was. And he was weighing like 190, like kind of looking like one of these bigger BMI dudes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But if they're saying that, okay, we don't necessarily with Jonte Cook, we don't necessarily need him to have that kind of, who are some of the guys who've recently, comparing him to like a Duvernay or something, feel like it would be, lazy because they're both Longhorns, like stuff. But I'm trying to think of other guys who are kind of like that, and for some reason, I'm just having a little bit of like Amari Rogers was a little bit like that. Some of these dudes, fast but higher body mass index and more. Because do you remember what Herman used to say? Herman used to say, like, Devin Duvernay, you don't realize it, but that guy wears armor. He's thick. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I felt like Jonte Cook had a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of that to his game in addition to also having the speed in the hands and the go up and get it ability. If they're saying that he can lose a little bit of that weight, but he can be faster, I think that trade-off's probably fine. Mm-hmm. And clearly the ones who work there with him probably know a little bit better than I would know.
Let me ask you this, Alex. I'm just kind of curious, right? So we're old enough to remember some of these like bigger wide receivers. Do you think guys like Colin Johnson, John Burt, Lil Jordan Humphrey, I'm trying to think of some of like the bigger receivers that we've seen, over the past couple of years. Maybe a Brennan Eagles. I think Brennan Eagles is like 6'3" or so. Do you think those guys start in a Sarkisian kind of offense?
I'm trying to think. I mean, who have we seen be good in Sarkisian's offense? Like Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. John Mechie, none of those guys are just super, none of those. I mean, I guess Devontae Smith's kind of tall, but I mean, he's the Slim Reaper. He's skinny. He's not like one of these. He's no Julio. You're not going to mix him up for Julio Jones, or Mike Evans.
And I know Ryan Wingo's a little, he's built, right? So
Dude, Wingo's gonna be so good.
yeah.
I was talking to Cody about him yesterday, and I'm not even sure I got to my main point about, because we did yesterday like a bold predictions thing. We did some
Mhm.
bold predictions, and I did a bold, bold predictions are like you know what a bold prediction is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
things that probably aren't going to happen, but you just say, well, I can make a case that this could happen, right? And my thing was
Mhm.
that Ryan Wingo leads the team in receiving touchdowns, and the
Mhm.
reason why I thought that it could be the case is because he's so good down there in the red zone with his adjustment, like we saw on the one play. But on the one play in the spring game, whenever he was, it was the one play in the spring game where they lined him up in the slot. Was that kind of awesome little change route that they ran where he kind of faded off to the corner of the end zone. And I was like, dude, if they're dialing him up right now in a special way to where he's played at the X this whole drive, and they move him into the slot for this one play, and they bring in some other dude to put him at the X, they're dialing things up for Wingo in the red zone. So I was thinking to myself that was a possibility. And with you mentioning, can they still use these? I think Sark is going to find a way to use his personnel and stuff. I think that
Mhm.
when you have a guy like Wingo, you're going to find creative ways like that to use him. But I don't think it's the case. I just do, and I don't know why this happened, man. I'm not sure why it's happened, but if you just look at the draft, and it was especially true in the 2023 draft, who was the draft of these, it was your Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was he was 6 feet tall, right? Zay Flowers was 5'9".
Mhm.
Jordan Addison was 5'11". Josh Downs was 5'9". Marvin Mims 5'11". Jalen Hyatt 6 feet. Jaden Reed 5'11". Trey Palmer 6 foot. Rashi Rice 6'1". Right, all these guys, man. Dontavian Wicks, Tank Dell, Charlie Jones, even Puka Nacua is only 6'1".
Yeah.
Where are the 6'2", 6'3" guys? So that if you look at 2023, 6'2" guys, Quentin Johnston, 6'2.5", he sucks. Jonathan Mingo also stinks, 6'2".
Mhm.
Xavier Hutchinson, he was good at Iowa State, always had 10 catches versus Texas, but he's been terrible as a Texan.
Mhm.
Michael Wilson from Stanford was 6'2". I'm trying to look. Was there any guys who were 6'3"? Were there any Mike Evans? Oh, so Justin Shorter from Florida, who's just 6'3", 225.
Mhm.
They had A.T. Perry, who's with the Saints now, that was 6'3.5", 198. But
Yeah.
that was basically it for the 2023 class. That was definitely a shorter class. If we look at this last class, you do have
You
some
only
guys.
got one guy with any height.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
this
Keep going now. Let's keep going. I apologize, but you only got one.
no, it's fine. It's but this last class, you have a couple that were big. I mean, the two at the very top, because we know Rome Odunze. You forget that he's like 6'3" ish. Rome is
Mhm.
big. Rome's big and tall. So is Marvin Harrison. But
Yeah.
other than that, man, you got the LSU guy Brian Thomas that's 6'3". Um, I But I'm just looking at this list. Malik Neighbor, 6 feet tall. You have Xavier Worthy, 5'11". I guess A.D. Mitchell was 6'2". So that's
Yeah.
another example of a guy that Sark can use that's that height. But
Yeah.
you have Javon Baker's 6'1". Ricky Pearsall is 6'1". Jalen Polk is 6'1". Lad McConkey's 5'11". Roman Wilson's 5'10". Malik Washington, 5'8.5". Malachi Corley, 5'2".
Mhm.
That Malachi Corley is another guy that one of those kind of high BMI yards after catch guys we were talking about earlier. 5'10.5". Taj Washington, 5'9.5". Jalen McMillan, you remember him from Washington, 6'1". All these dudes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening. That it's yeah, in this class, you have the Marvin Harrison Jr., you have the Rome Odunze, you have the Keon Coleman, you have the Brian Thomas Jr. Those, out of the dudes that were drafted, those are the three that are the big 6'3", towering, prototypical X wide receivers that go up and get it, my ball mentality kind of guys.
Yeah.
And like the Mike Evans. But you think back to that 2014 class, and then you think to yourself, Why was that 2014 class so good? And what you don't really think about the Odell Beckhams and the Brandon Cookses as much as you think about the Mike Evanses and the Sammy Watkins and the gosh, what's his name? He turned so fat. Kelvin Benjamin, Devontae Adams was in that class, right? These kinds of players, and you wonder if the NFL is kind of going away from that body type as the prototypical X. All right, I see we got D-Hawk. He's joined us in the chat. We're gonna go to him in 1 second, but first we have to talk about, of course, Texas beef traders. Can you believe Texas beef traders, dude? If you guys haven't gone to Texas beef traders yet, I don't know what to tell you. Dude, this meat is taken from Mason, Texas, and brought right to Austin, Texas, right there in the heart of Lakeway, right after it's processed there in the facility. And look, it's cheaper than the grocery store. It's never been shot up with any kind of steroids, none of this antibiotics, none of these mRNA vaccines, none of this junk, dude. Texas beef traders, it's delicious. It tastes better. It tastes better. Go in there, go see Darren, go see Shay. Let them know that we sent you. And whenever you do, you'll get 10% off. But you're also going to get some of the best meat, some of the cleanest meat that you've ever had. It's so, so delicious. They also got wines. They have beers. They have all kinds of like side stuff. I always get these little pickled green bean things they have in there. My family's addicted to Texas beef traders. You will be too. Texas beef traders, texasbeeftraders.com. Make sure to tell them that we sent you. Get that 10% off of an already great price for a great product at Texas beef traders.
And just real quick, obviously, because we want to get to our man Donald Hawkins is waiting. Eric sells homes DFW. If you're looking for a house in the DFW area, you don't have to look any further than El Presidente himself. He's a Longhorn fan. He's a Longhorn man. He'll make sure you don't get taken advantage of in any area where you're looking to buy or sell. Check him out. Let him know your favorite unk sent you. Eric sells homes DFW. Come on, back it out.
You gonna play D-Hawk some of this intro music?
Yeah, he might like that. He might like that. Let's see if he likes it.
D-Hawk, Donald Hawkins. How the hell you doing, brother?
How you doing?
It's been a minute, man. You been living life?
Absolutely, one way to do it.
Yeah, man. So you have all the new D-Hawk, all the new D-Hawk performance gear. I keep on asking you, man. I keep on asking you on X, right? On your DMs. And I can't ever get a straight answer out of you, so I'm just gonna ask you here on the show.
I always
buy
forget,
these t-shirts and these shorts. What size do I need to get? Do they run big? Do they run small? What's the story here?
They run true to size.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's athletic wear. So whatever size you wear, that's what size you'll wear. So if you're a large, they run a large.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. People don't care about that though. They want to hear about the guys that you're working with. Clearly, Texas is after Michael Fasusi. You were on my show back in fall of last year saying, "Man, Alex, you got to watch this dude. I want to start working with him. All this stuff. He's been to Texas, all that since I guess you've been working with him. Give us an update, man. How does that got like? What do you think about him as far as his skill set? What it is because I don't know, maybe you know better than I do, but it feels like the reporting we've gotten from our recruiting guy Jason over on Orange Bloods is that it looks like he's probably gonna be choosing between Oklahoma and Texas if things stay as they are. And so Texas fans want to know what kind of player this is. What do you see in his skill set?
He has an amazing skill set. Obviously, he's big in stature. I think Mike has a skill set where he can be a 3-and-done type of player. I think he has the skill set. He has the talent where he can walk in. They want to be a contributor to whatever program he goes to. I think he's that type of talent, has that type of skill. Obviously, would it happen? That's totally up to Mike. So Mike kind of decides his future, whether he plays as a freshman or not. I think he's motivated to come in and play as a freshman. I think whatever ball club he chooses, he's going to make the offensive line better. And I think the word of the guy, I think he's a tremendous talent. I think one of his best is feet. His feet are so natural, it's so quick. I I think that's probably the best thing he has right now. It's a lot of things he has to clean up from a technique perspective in order to make him a three and done guy. But I think the word of that kid, he's probably not probably he's one of the best talent I have saw come through here, and I work with a lot of kids, and I think he has a great foundation from a family wise of keeping him grounded. And I think this summer we get together, we're gonna really, work out some kinks and really take his game to the next level. When I say he can be a guy that contributes, has the first day of fall camp or first day whenever we step on campus, I think that's why a lot of colleges are really, out there. When I say out there, I'm like they're really out there because they see him as a guy that can walk in on campus and contribute day one.
Can I just ask just a quick follow up on more? Like, can I just like how do you? Because I remember you saying, how do you compare? And I know they have different body types and stuff, but you worked with Cam Williams. I know that, like, I saw him at a bunch of your camps. Big Cam, the right tackle for Texas. How do you compare? How do you compare him as far as his readiness to? Whenever you think about him going back to whenever he was a senior in high school, right? How do you compare his readiness to play early to Fasusi's readiness to play early?
I think I think Mike has a more polished. Well, not even necessarily polished. I think Mike have more tools to work with. I think Cam, when you thought of Cam, you thought first thing you was surprised with is how well he moves for his size. So that's one thing that stood out for Cam. But when you watch Mike, you are more impressed how quick he is for his size, how nimble he is, and how long his limbs in. As far as Cam, like I said, you're impressed with his stature. Like, okay, this guy, 6'5", 6'6", he's 360 pounds, and he can move in space. And what Mike is like, damn, he got things that you can't teach. So, like I say, for once the feet, how quick he is. I mean, speed is something you can't teach, man. That's something that he has, right? Cool. Size is something that you can't teach. That's kind of what Cam had. So those are the difference between the two. But as far as like running all types of schemes, I think you can run all type of different schemes with Mike, where there's no limitation. I'm not saying that Cam has a limitation, but with Mike, he can fit in the type of system.
Mr. Hawkins, nice to meet you. It's Anwar Richardson.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Hey, let me set you up for a couple little things here before I get into the Fasusi thing. First and foremost, for everybody, so they can know exactly what you do. This is you, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell us real quick, how long have you been training offensive linemen? Where are you based out of? And then how long?
I'm sorry, I didn't introduce D Hawk.
You just started jumping into it, Alex. I was like,
dog.
well, just for anybody who may be like, who? Go ahead, just set it up. Like, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So for guys who don't know, I played at Texas, all conference player. Went on to play in the NFL for a little bit. I've been training athletes since 2019. Been on average 10 kids per year, Division One, some Division Two, some Ivy League. I done had kids like Fasusi come through the program before. I done sent kids from Alabama to Stanford, sent kids to Texas, sent kids all over the place. But what was your other question?
No, and then the other question I just want to ask was like, so how long have you been training?
Since
Where you based out of?
Okay, cool. I've been training since 2019. I'm based out of Dallas, so have a facility in Carrollton, and we work outdoor space in Highland Park. So
Gotcha.
those are two locations.
So now my question to you as relates to Fasusi is, you've been working with him for a while. It's interesting because it looked like he started off on the defensive line as a defensive end. How did you transition him to be as great as he is on the offensive line? I know you talked about the footwork, and that's obvious, especially in this freshman film. Talk about that transition on adding pounds, but then not losing a step along the way.
Got yourself a clarification. I didn't work with him when he played D line. I got him this year, But
Okay,
from
got
my
it.
talking to him, most of his athleticism came from playing soccer.
Mm,
He didn't know anything about football, so I guess you would say more of the quick feet came from soccer.
mhm,
So that's
mhm.
kind of what kind of gave him a foundation with having speed with his feet.
You always get these soccer guys. Wasn't that Stanford guy you sent off to Stanford a soccer guy like Uke or something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
He's
you
a
know,
soccer
most of these
player.
kids when they're African kids, so
Mm.
they know more. They foundation is more soccer than anything. So
What? Hold on. What? Because just like culturally, like soccer's important
yeah,
to them
yeah, yeah,
growing
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Oh,
You
Kind
gotta
of a worldwide
remember these
sport.
guys are from Africa, so they really don't have football over there. They
huh.
football is soccer.
Yeah. Oh, wild. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I know that Christian. One of the things about Christian Jones, like one of the things about him coming in was, he had played soccer growing up too. It was one of the things he said helped him with his feet. It was kind of a neat thing. Um, what do you think about anything else on that you have on Fasusi on war? I just
Yeah,
kind of want
yeah,
to ask.
I got a couple
Yeah, because
things
they're
for
like I just
Donald.
have
Go
some
ahead.
some questions
Yeah,
about the program for you
I'm
all.
curious when I watch him on film, Donald. The one thing I noticed, and there's a technical thing, I'm sure there, but when he gets his hands on somebody, he's got bad intentions.
Hmm.
I'm seeing my man throw people to the concession stands, like he's got people up in the bleachers. How do you teach, the effective use of the hands that he has? Because he's driving guys back. He finishes every play. But how do you teach that, and what makes him so special in that area?
We call it violent intentions. You gotta have
Mm,
violent intentions, right? Cool. Whenever you
mhm,
put your hands on one, you gotta have violent intentions, right? So, what's the quote or the saying that Mike Tyson said? Everybody got a plan until they get hit in the face.
yes.
Something like
So
that.
so
Yeah.
every play you want to have violent intention, man. But
Mhm,
that's the game of football, right? Cool. So another thing that makes Mike so special, Mike is naturally strong. When I say
mhm,
he's naturally strong, we're talking about a kid that I think front squats like 450, bro.
mm,
He front
mhm.
squats like 450, back squats like 480, and front squatting 450 in high school is insane. That's a
Yeah.
lot of power being generated. So
Mhm,
I can go on. I can say so many nice things about Mike. This is why I say he has the ability to come in and play as a freshman because he
mhm,
has the strength already. So a lot of kids that play offensive line that don't contribute as a freshman is because of
mhm,
lack of strength. So by him having that strength, he's able to gel in. The technique gonna be the technique. The scheme gonna be the scheme. All of it's mentally. You got to be able to know the scheme, but the strength is the biggest part for offensive line and defensive line
mhm,
playing as a true freshman. You watch the kid. I'm gonna use him as an example. When Byron Murphy came out of high school,
mhm,
I know he was gonna be a good football player. I watched him dominate kids that I worked with that went to Dunkerville. And
mm.
this kid came out of high school benching 400 pounds, squatting 500. He's gonna be a good football player.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and it's a will and a want about yourself, right? And when you have a will and a want about yourself, you're gonna go on and do amazing things because that's kind of motivated for you. And
Mhm,
like I told Mike this a couple days ago. I said, you gotta have a plan. I said, it's no reason why you shouldn't be a guy that's worth $28 million in 3 years. As far
mm,
as the skill set, you have that, right? Cool.
mhm.
So build you a great foundation. Go in and do what you got to do, and get out and become rich, bro.
What about him as a person? Because the one thing when again there's little things in the film, right? So I can talk about his leverage, and we've talked about the footwork, and I've talked about the hand, right? But I
Mhm.
noticed one little thing that stood out to me is that when he'd finish a play and he'd look up and he saw that the running back is making a play about to score, the first guy that's popping up. He's celebrating. He's excited. Like so it wasn't just like I finished this. Look at me. It
Mhm.
was he was so excited to see his other teammates just complete the play. I'm just wanting to know, one, have you noticed that? And two, what can you tell me about him as a person?
Um, I think If you don't know Mike, he comes off as kind of quiet. When
Mhm.
you get around him, his personality comes out. He's actually a funny kid. And we're gonna work more on you guys seeing his personality, get to know him more than just being a football player. There's a lot of things about Mike that people don't know, and I don't
Mhm.
want to tell his story for him. I want to give him the
Mhm.
opportunity to tell his story himself. Like I said, we're gonna work on you guys seeing Mike outside of football, so you can get to know him a little bit, especially the people that don't watch football. We want people to know who is Mike Fasusi outside of football. We want to garner the attention of people that don't want that don't watch football to get to know him. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like help building his fan base and also increasing his name, image, and likeness. But as far as a person, I think he's a great kid. Comes from a great family. Hasn't been in America that long. I want to say
Mhm.
less than 4 years.
Wow.
So I wouldn't say everything is kind of brand new, but
Mhm.
he's definitely still kind of green behind the ear when it comes to a lot of things. And right now, still he's trying to figure it out. And that's why I say having a great support team as an athlete takes you far in life. So right now, I think he's still trying to build a support team up and things like that.
We just got a few more questions for you, D Hawk, before we let you. I mean, it's always so good to have you on, brother. And just to let everybody know where you can get him on X, it's that underscore boy underscore D Hawk. Make sure and give him a follow there for all of his
And if you guys have any youth kids, we're having a youth camp June the 2nd for ages, grades 5 through 8.
Is
So
that on
that's
your
kind of like,
website, by the way?
yeah, it's on the website. Right? It's called DFW King of the Trenches Youth.
Hold on, I got you.
So
Hold on, don't worry about that. I got you. Tell me where to navigate on the website. I'll pull it up
King of
for
the
you right
Trench, right there.
now. Okay.
and when is that, D Hawk?
What does it say? June 1st? June
Hmm.
1st. Sorry.
So that's coming. Is that so? That's next weekend. Man, I need to
Yeah.
see if I can come up for it. Man, that thing's always so good. Um, I mean, gosh, I can't tell you the number of guys I was begging you last year to bring that thing back, man. It's good. It's good. It's good. You finally did.
Yeah.
It's always such good players at that thing. Are you getting some good signups so far?
Right now it's slow, man. I think the visibility. A lot of people remind you this is something different we're doing. We're doing this for the youth, not for high school kids. We want to build a platform we can cater to those guys that won't have accessibility going to these college camps and kind of
Mhm.
Oh,
give
okay.
them some exposure and visibility. So
Okay. Okay. So this is different than that one that I saw like
yes, so
Cam
yes,
Williams.
it's different. It's new, but eventually we're trying to um, figure out who's going to be the next upcoming. Well, think
Mhm.
about it. We know about the high school kids, right? Everybody's covering them, right? What about these kids that's in the 7th, 8th grade that's going to turn into a Michael Fasusi? How do we get the eyes on those kids at a young age? We talking about kids that's 6'5", 310 already in the 8th grade, or these guys that got amazing flexibility. And, a different way to get exposure on these kids. And college coaches like that as well. So now they get an early look on, get an early catch on these guys. It's gonna be very good.
D Hawk, my son plays soccer. There's a lot of big boys out there on that soccer
Yeah.
field that could probably use your work. I know Alex got some questions for you, but on a random Saturday, just go around the soccer field. You'll find a bunch of good prospects.
Yeah.
So we
That's
got Mike.
true.
We got and thanks to over 500 people watching live right now, man. We can't thank you guys enough. We have a question from Mike Torres in the chat. He's I didn't know that you're are you he's saying that he thinks that you're working with Lamont Rogers. I think Lamont
Yeah,
Rogers.
he's a client of mine.
Oh, okay. Dude.
Mike Torres is on everything, man.
All right. So dude, I'm very interested to I've been a big fan of of that guy's film for a long time. Like, can you tell us what you think about him? What are the
Oh
attributes that
man,
he brings?
Lamont is a kid that's greedy. When I say he's greedy for information. Lamont is a kid that doesn't have a lot of resources when it comes to training. Doesn't have a lot of resources when it comes to finding new information. So anytime he's calling me, he's trying to pick my brain all the time for information. But as far as Lamont's skill set, I think Lamont is a kid that is raw right now, but he has a lot of upside. I tell people this all the time. Upside is not a bad thing; it's a good thing, right? It means that you have a lot of potential to be better, right? Imagine we're talking about a kid right now that's a high 4 star that hasn't even reached his ceiling. His expectation, he want to be a 5 star. So that's kind of what we're working to get him to. But as far as his upsides, I think he's naturally aggressive. He has good feet. I think one of the things I'm working with Lamont on is having what did I call it? I call it being is it control? What is it called? Aggression. Forget sometimes. So basically, one thing I'm working with Lamont is being under control, right? We want to have control. What is called control aggressiveness. So as far as I think someone asked a question about what did he say? Is he going to Texas or something? I'm not sure what the question was.
Oh,
What
I'm
did
not
Mike
sure.
say?
No, he was just asking what's your thoughts on
What's
him.
your thoughts on him? Is what he
Yeah,
was asking.
Is he talking about skill wise? Or is he talking about
yeah,
recruiting wise?
yeah. Well, both. I mean, what do you? I mean, I'm sure if you have any insight on what you think he's thinking as far as recruiting, people would love to hear that too. But whatever you think.
I got a good idea where he might go to, but I'm gonna let him put that news out. But
That's it.
as far as skill wise, I think Lamont, just being honest, I think as far as like, is he ready to play now? I think he's maybe like a year, 2 years away from contributing to a college. Obviously, we want to increase that number, make him be able to come in and play early. But I like Lamont, man. When I say I like Lamont, I think he's a kid that isn't going to settle. He's not content to where he is right now. I think he wants to be better. I think he's hungry to be better. He has a lot of passion for this game, right? He has a why. And I tell people this all the time. When you're playing football, you got to have a why. Why are you playing? What are you trying to get from football? I think he wants to feed his family. I think he wants to financially use football, use football for national reasons to, get to the NFL, take care of his mom, take care of his grandma. And I like kids like that. I like kids like that because when things get hard and adversity hit, they're not going to quit. Because at the end of the day, that's that why. That's the why. So kids like that, they're gonna go through a brick wall for you. Because it's a goal of theirs. I think his goal is to play in the NFL, take care of his family, and usually when you get kids like that, they turn out very good.
D-Hawk, the last question for me, just, and I think I was going to do something Texas related, but just kind of overall as a Texas man, Texas grad, I just kind of curious your thoughts on the Longhorn offensive line and the progression that you've seen. Kyle Flood, the job that you think he's been doing over there as a guy that probably studies that. It analyzes that more than anybody else. What do you think of where the offensive line has gotten to this point? Because it looks like we're going to have more guys getting drafted down the pipeline going forward. I'm just kind of curious, State of the Union address.
Cal is a guy Cal is one of the few guys in college football that I respect. When I say I respect him as a teacher, right? I think he lays a foundation down for what he wants, and he coaches his kids up from that. As far as what I think about the offensive line, I think the left tackle is a pretty good football player. He turned out to be a lot better than I thought he was going to be. I think Jake Majors took strides last year, and that was good to see. I think Cam is probably going to be the second best offensive lineman on that team this year. And I think if Cam have the year he wants, he's going to be another guy that earns his name in the draft. I think that's the goal of his. So we're talking about two tackles, two starting tackles probably going to depart this year. So that's what makes it so critical for Cal. And I don't want to speak for Cal, but Coach Flood, but I think it makes it so critical for him to land these massive high school kids and recruiting because shit, he's gonna need them. You need kids that are gonna be able to come in and plug in and play. So, but as far as the other two young guys, well, I want I guess the left guard. He's not a young guy no more. What is it in his fourth year?
Yeah, well, I think Connor, he might technically be in his fifth. It might be in his. it feels like he's been here 5 years. Let me just look though. So Hayden Connor, no. So yeah, he's a 4th-year senior, but he's played every year. So it's his
Yeah.
it's his 4th year.
So as far as Connor, I think he's a solid football player. There's a couple of things I like for him to be better at, and I hope this year he's able to take the stride to being all conference player. Right? I tell guys this all the time. If you're gonna play football at a high level, why not be great at it? And usually guys that's very good at football that usually your all conference players, your all American players. As far as DJ, I think he took a step from his freshman year, and I want to see him build off that. I want to see him build off that. I want to see him turn into that player everybody saw at Bowie High School, knocking kids out, right? And you saw a little bit of the physicality, but I want to see him tap in mentally and cut down on the mistakes, and we can get all 5 guys and mesh with each other, I think Texas has a chance to dominate on offense. When I say dominate, we're talking about dominate. And domination starts from where? It's up front. It's up front. So when I say dominate, I want to see guys finishing guys up the field. I want to see lanes open. I don't want to see running backs making jump cuts to get open. I want to see offensive linemen bullying people. That's what I want to see. So when I can see that from Texas, because I didn't see it last year, when I see them bullying people this year, when I first talked to Kyle said that recruiting class he brought in, they had a chance to win a Joe Moore Award. So I want to see that happen. So that's what he told me a couple years ago. And I want to see these guys go out and win a Joe Moore Award.
Yeah, it certainly would be huge, and it's certainly great to have you on, D-Hawk. I just have one more question, and we'll let you get out of here. We appreciate you taking all this time. We know your time is very valuable. You have all these guys you're working with D-Hawk O-line training, and of course they can find you there on your website. They can find you that boy D-Hawk on X. D-Hawk Lineman Performance is the website there where you can see all the clients, contact, all the rest of the stuff there for Coach D-Hawk. Donald Hawkins, of course. Whenever you work with him or send somebody to work with him, you're not only getting a great education from a super, super, super sharp dude in the O-line space, but also supporting a Longhorn. So make sure that and truly, since I've been at Texas, one of the Longhorns that's gotten their quarterback sacked, hurried, or pressured less than virtually everybody else, right? Like I've shown you that.
I've shown you that. Said that, right?
I've shown you that chart. Yeah.
I text Coach Sir asking where's my award at from my senior year. Like in the O-line room, we gave out awards. Obviously, the coaching staff was fired for guys that had most pancakes, most knocks down. He sent me that list, and I won both categories. I'm still waiting on my award from him.
I'm not sure Searles is going to be.
I might have to send you that, give you a little sneak peek of the 2013 O-line grade.
Hey. So just one last thing. Anybody any offensive lineman out there that you think Texas fans should know about? Maybe players that you think?
Man, so it's a kid that I don't work with. But I end up seeing him at a showcase, and another guy from another recruiting database. He met with me and told me about this kid. I think this kid goes to how to go through my phone, and a lot of people say he's gonna be the real deal. His name is. Give me 1 second. Let me find him. Bear with me.
No, it's fine, man. We got
this kid name is John Tortine the third.
How do you spell that?
Turntine. He goes to North Crowley. He's a 2026 left tackle. He's supposed to be like probably number one. Well, he's going to be the number one player in Texas. But I was told he's probably going to be like top 3 player in the country at any position.
Well, dude, that's a very hot tip. Thank you for that, D-Hawk. We need to go give that guy a look. I can see that you're already getting the summer stuff going on there with the kids at home and everything else, brother. So Anwar and I we have to head out to go pick up the kids early for the.
All right, me too, bro. See you guys later.
But, hey, dude, we can't thank you enough for coming on. And as always, man, please, everybody go check out D-Hawk, D-Hawk Line Performance, and follow him on Twitter at that_boy_ D-Hawk. Hawkins, thank you so much, man. Look forward to having you on again soon, brother.
All right, be safe, brother.
All right, man. Peace.
Take care. Nice
All
to meet
right,
you.
so there he is. There's Coach D-Hawk. Good update on Fasusi. Hell of a guy. We need to have him on more, man. Maybe this year we can have D-Hawk because D-Hawk. It's funny during the season to get his reaction to games. He gets so tilted. He comes on. He's like, I can't believe on this play they did this and this and this. He's an excellent. He's one of these guys that really wears his heart on his sleeve when he talks about his Longhorns, man. And people love to hear it. So it's good to hear from him, and good to hear from him that he definitely thinks that Turrentine is somebody that Texas is going to be, that clearly a dude that Texas is after, but him saying that he might be in his eyes is a great offensive line evaluator, thinks he could be the top player in the whole nation. So we will see about all that. So, man, I think it's a good show today. I think that's probably about it for the week, brother. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Man, you talk about that, man. Someone gave me a tip on, I think, a 2027 receiver or 2029 receiver. Alex, like I got a 2029 guy that I'm gonna have to send you his film. We can spend all summer doing these things like the craziest prospects. But no, man, I'm gonna enjoy the weekend, man. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got a lot of family things that I gotta get taken care of, and so I'll be traveling a lot. This I don't even want to tell you what my travel itinerary is. And if I say I'm going up and down to Mexico in one day, everyone's gonna think I'm a drug mule. So I got a lot going on. I'll be in Destin trying to fly out there on Monday. So you guys enjoy your weekend. Have all the fun that's out there. I'm going to be a dad for a weekend, and I hope you guys enjoy your family. Remember, I always say live each day like it was your last, because one day it will be. Enjoy it, and happy graduation to all the graduates and to all the parents out there who are celebrating their kids graduating this weekend.
Yeah, man. And like what Almo always says, one day it'll, enjoy every day like it's your last, because one day it will be. I will say that, look, we have Memorial Day this weekend, and it's a day. It's just an important day, man. It's an important day. I'm gonna say a prayer for everybody who has given their life for our country and our way of life and all of it, and all those Gold Star families out there, man. It's a big day, and it's one that we should always remember to celebrate. So to all those people, it's like there's nothing you can say except take the day and enjoy the day, and remember it's because of them that you're able to enjoy it. And so go out today, though. Go out today and go do something big, right? Go do something big today. We will see you guys on Monday. For Anwar, I'm Alex. Until then, we'll see you next time on Orange Blood.